We talked a lot about new technologies, and when new technologies emerge, in order for them to work properly without fraudulent behavior on the other side, we need regulation. Without regulation, it's impossible to have good products, it's impossible to scale in a better way, in a proper way, and because of that, regulation is very important, especially when we talk about emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, crypto, Web3, fintech, and all of that. And because of that, at FAI 2025 and all other past conferences we had, regulation was always one of the most important topics, and it will be so today as well. The name for the next panel is Navigating Web3 Regulations and Security, Compliance in Digital Finance. There are several speakers, and I'd like you all to greet them with a warm round of applause. First is Nikoloz Kandelaki, founder and CEO of Clarsen. It's a regulatory compliance advisory firm. Let's give a round of applause, everybody. Nikoloz worked at MPG for many, many years. He was head of WASP, so Nikoloz brings a lot of experience to the table. I'd like to invite to the stage Sviatoslav Dubovskiy, Regional VP, Vice President at Crystal Blockchain Analytics. Come on, guys. Let's do it. Next is Tran, founder and CEO of Uquid. Good luck. And I'd like to welcome to stage Vakho, Tchitava, CEO at Bitanica and Fastoo. These are two companies that operate on the Georgian market. One is crypto exchange, another is fintech company, emerging players on the Georgian scene. Moderator for today's conversation will be Tengo Mesri. He's CEO at Concept Digital. Tengo, the floor is yours. Good luck.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining this conversation today. I'm super excited to be joined by this all-star panel, and today we'll cover the exciting new developments and also what we should be aware of regarding regulation in the Web3 space. So actually, I think it would make sense to start with Nika. He is the man behind Georgia's regulation. He's in NBG for 8 years, and he solved this. And the reason why Georgia is such a great place to work in Web3 is thanks to him. So maybe we can start with a quick summary of the main things to think about.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. It's nice to be here in this panel with these esteemed guests and the panelists. So the story of the regulation in Georgia started about 3 years ago. Nobody knew what was the blockchain, Bitcoin, and everybody was aware and afraid of this new technology. So I worked for National Bank of Georgia 8 years. I was a banking supervisor. I built up the PSP supervision division. And when this new business line was happened to regulate, so I took this opportunity and the challenge to draft the regulation, to implement, and to create the regulated market. So we processed 65 applications, and we registered 25 new business, and get those companies to the regulated area. The main reason and the essence of the framework was to register WASPs and have the balanced approach. First of all, we were thinking about the integrity of the market. And the AML CFD framework was the first step. And after that, we watched the market, we observed the market, and also the international regulations. There was the MiCA, that was the very high standard and the very heavy regulation for the market. But in Georgia, we balanced this approach. After this first step, more regulations will be developed in Georgia, but this is now the opportunity for newcomers, for new investors in Georgia, because we have the crypto-friendly regulations. So the first step was the integrity, and the next steps will to go. So.
Amazing, thank you. And so, if you can explain maybe what are the differences or what exactly about VASP makes it crypto-friendly relative to MiCA in Europe, NARA, and Dubai. Why is Georgia such a good place to do Web3 business?
So first of all, the financial sector is quite advanced. And the challenges were on that side because nobody knew what kind of business models WASP had, and the banks won't even open accounts to serve them, to be bankable, these new businesses, but we had a very good engagement with the financial sector, and after the first stage, when banks saw how the risks were mitigated with the AML CFT instruments, with the strong regulations, with the policy and procedures, because the policy and procedures were one of the major requirements for the WASPs to provide before they start the business, before they start the operations. So this was the major milestone, the first step, and when they saw it, now they're creating the combined products with the banks, with the brokers, with PSPs, because these three business lines, when these three business lines work together, the fintech ecosystem will thrive definitely.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also what Clarsen provides is regulatory advisory, right? So if there's any questions, they can come to you for sure. And one of the things you mentioned as well was AML CFD instruments and this bridging between TradFi and DeFi. And we have three other esteemed guests from working in local and global stages. So I'd love to hear how you guys solved and developed over the challenges facing with crypto AML. Maybe if you can mention about that.
Yeah. So I'm Dubovskiy, I'm VP at Crystal Intelligence. We provide ML solutions for crypto, so companies can understand what funds they receive and where they send them to, and basically comply with AML CFT. And there is a very big difference between DeFi and CeFi compliance. DeFi, there is no regulation whatsoever, and if their DeFi protocols are doing something, they're doing it out of free will, not to get into trouble with the regulators later on.
I think I agree with you on the point that we need to get in the future, we need to know more regulator crossing border. That means we can set like passport or something license from this country to other country to get the adoption for the all the global. In terms of like MiCA, currently we only have applied for EU, but other country maybe they have different type of regulation that may be more relaxed. So in terms of global adoption, I think we need a passport or something to pass on for different country can get adoption and getting regulator because currently I see globally the customers they come from everywhere. They come from Africa, but they say they not comply with the MiCA. So how can we adopt? How can we apply to the MiCA for Africa the client? So I think in the near future might be. We not be getting strict like MiCA, but other countries may can comply, getting a bit less or like in here. So I think that will be in the future. More countries will follow that kind of relaxed rule.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the invitation. I'm really excited to be here representing our companies, Bitanica and Fastoo. I would start talking about like overall from business perspective and from tax perspective. I think that Georgia has taken progressive steps in terms of regulation. We already have an AML regulation. Exchanges are legally recognized, and I would say that government is also quite supportive. But the framework covers only the basics. So, like the absence of products like staking, margin, and futures makes like for taxes like us difficult to compete with the global competitors. But I think that solution, we kind of have solution to that. I think that working with regulator, using, for example, regulator sandbox, to start with products like staking or maybe futures with the limited margin, these are the first steps we should take. And in general, I believe that Georgia can become a hub in the region if we would implement these smart regulations quickly. I think there we have like bright future. Thank you.
Absolutely. And one of the things you mentioned again, the reason why we want to work with decentralized finance is to go global. You know, everybody around the world can get involved in cryptocurrencies and using these exciting new technologies which are decentralized. So how do you balance this fitting within regulatory frameworks around the world and also the innovation that's necessary to reach these people around the world? So my real question is, what's the best place to be based as an entity, and how do you balance, you know, paying attention closely with the regulations and also reaching as many people as possible at the same time?
So thank you. It's a good question because DeFi for the regulators is the gray area. Let's say it in the right way. But in the DeFi, there is no one to regulate. How you do it? It was quite challenging. We were thinking about it, and also, as you know, in Europe, in USA, it is exempted from the regulation because now there is no solution to regulate. The only way to mitigate the risk is to block the operations from the DeFi, but it's not wise to do it because there are jurisdictions that blocked the crypto operations, but most of the investors are from this jurisdiction. And you know it, what kind of crypto coin is that. So it's the same, the DeFi. When you block the operations, all the transactions will go to that direction. So, and we will get more gray area. So we should open the gates for the DeFi and be aware what kind of transactions are coming from the DeFi. Because the DeFi could be not connected to the illegal transactions. And it could be used, it's a good opportunity, for example, for the derivative products, for transactions, P2P transactions. It is cheaper, it is faster, and it could be used as a technology. And it creates the opportunity. I can tell that three main opportunities that this crypto market was thriving for. It was the open system, it's the cross-border, and the instant transactions. So we had the case in the National Bank of Georgia when we were registering one of the WASPs. The 13-year-old boy came with the father. And he built the software which was connected to the blockchain directly. And in the demo session, we were discussing the FATF regulations with a 13-year-old boy. So I thought that nothing will stop this ecosystem. Because
it's too powerful.
When you have the open system without limitation, everybody could be interested in it and develop in the right way. So, thank you.
Thank you. Sviatoslav?
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard topic because on one side there is regulation and regulators most of the time try to protect the users.
Exactly.
But self-custody, open markets, and decentralization speak about being your own bank are on opposite sides of the same line, right? So it's a mix. And I don't think there is a right approach right now. I mean, that's why there is no regulation. Nobody wants to be the first and take a step and be the first to go through regulating DeFi. But I believe more into about self-regulation of DeFi, because so there are two options that I see. Either DeFi space comes up and says, hey, here are the rules of FAT, like AML and counterterrorism financing we want to apply with limitation that we are DeFi, or it's going to be the other side around, the regulators that don't understand DeFi very deep would go in, create rules and say, hey, those are the rules, play by them. So, and I would rather prefer the first option.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. There's a tension between regulation is for the consumer, the regular person, to protect them. Like, so we at Concept Digital, we're building different things for Solana projects, and I personally have dealt with many scammers already. And there's, unfortunately, two types of people like lack of regulation. It's innovative people who want to drive change, and it's scammers who can benefit from the lack of these laws. So the self-regulation that you mentioned, I think is very interesting. It's a way to, in a borderless way, create the safeguards necessary for people to be safe. And so I'm curious as well, Tran and Vakho, how can we build or use these kind of self-regulatory frameworks to create this trust and build the kind of confidence that's necessary to be successful in Web3?